So if you cannot see the table, maybe the SQLite cannot detect your table. So you need to show the schema. It means when you click on this DB, there will be option what schema that you want to see. So you can select the default schema. If you click on the default schema, then you can see all the tables in your database. But it depends on your PyCharm and your Django version. If you are using the newest one, I think you can see directly and you can see all the tables. And then if you want to create your first SQL, okay, so I already mentioned before to the student who attended class on Monday, we can use the shell. So the shell versus the structured language, the SQL language, they are the same, but in Python shell, we are focusing on the Python language. But the SQL is for the data access. So the Python shell, it uses Python code to access the data. But the SQL, it uses the SQL language according to the database tool. So if you use SQLite, then the SQL language will be only about the SQL language. If you use MySQL, then there will be SQL for MySQL. So every database, they have their own SQL. But most of them are similar, only slightly different. So for example, yeah, I already give you how to make a simple query. So in the PyCharm, you can click on the query console. QL, it is the query language. It will show you the query consoles. When you click here, query console, then you will see something. So if you click on the database, you can see QL. It will open new query, or you want to open the default console. If you open the default console, then this is the default console. And if you already have your table, you can do the general query, like select from, if you already create table, you will see the question table and the choice table. So let's say I want to see all the data from the FAQ question. Select all data from the table FAQ question, then missing database. Shall I run this? Okay, yeah, because I didn't run my project, so the data cannot be shown. So once you run your project, then you can see the result. This is the result from the FAQ question. And if I want to check the FAQ choice, then this is the result from the FAQ choice. Okay. So today we are going to learn how to do the data access via shell. So shell is one kind of environment in Python, and you can access it via PyCharm. So today we are going to learn the basic query in shell. And in order to access the DB, we can use Python function in a shell. I mentioned to you, you can run the manage.py. When you run the manage.py, it means every task it will contain the manage.py. So you don't need to type Python manage.py, something, Python manage.py. So it will make your time more efficient. So after you run the manage.py test, type shell, and there will be a console. Yeah, let's see. You can go to tools, run manage.py, and then when you see this environment, you can type shell. So shell will be run in a separate window. Oh, yes. Here. Oh, here. So in my case, it will be in the Python console. So you can go to the Python console, and then you can see there's one environment. It is similar to the Python when you do the text, okay? Texting in the Python with the command prompt. Okay. Now, is there any problem? So let me continue with the very basic uh, Python code to access the data. In the first statement, if you're familiar with Python, you will know what this means. So I want to get the models. Okay. I want to get the models from the directory FAQ, and then the table name will be question and choice. So in this case, you know that in the folder, in the directory FAQ, we have the models.py, and then in the models.py, we have two class, question and choice. So we are going to import those class. Okay. After we import those class, then we can try to access the data by giving this question. It means the class name. And then objects means I want to see all the data in the class question. So you can do some functions later. It means if I want to see all, yeah, you can see all. You can do filtering, you can do counting, and etc. So let's see if I do the all. Then you will see that there is one data. Okay. This is the data that you have in your database. There is one data, it is in the query set, and the data is in the list. And the question is, where is neighbor? You can have another kind of query. I would like to know what are the data in the choice. So I can just call the choice class, and then I call the method objects, and then all. And you can see the result is the same. We have the query set. Because we have only one data, the data shown like this one. Choice object 1. Now, what is the difference here? When you run the query about the question table, you can see the question text. You can see the word where is neighbor, because we have this function. Okay. I will let you know about this function later. So the str function means whenever I call every of this data, show the string. So in this case, I would like to show the string of the question text. So the question text will be shown. In the choice, I don't have the str. I don't have any string function. So the Python will just show the data object or the data index. In this case, the index of the data is in the position number 1. Okay, so this is the how we can view all the data from the model. There are several ways to do this CRUD. We call this CRUD. Maybe in the next section, I will always use CRUD. CRUD. C is the create, R read, U update, D delete. So CRUD are the 4 basic functions in any computer programming. So if you learn Python, or maybe in the first semester you learn Java, you also learn how to input the data, how to delete the data, and then how to update the data, and how to read the data. So the basic concept is CRUD. The acronym CRUD refers to all the major functions that are implemented in the relational DB, in the relational database. Each of the letter can map to a standard SQL and HTTP and DDS. So if you use SQL, we will use this command, insert, for creating. Read, we will use select. If we want to update, we can use update. And if we want to delete or destroy, we use delete. If you use the HTTP, so we will connect our database with HTML. We will use some kind of function, whether it is put or post. And then if we want to read, we are going to use get. If we want to update, we can use put or post or patch. If we are going to delete, we use delete. There is another kind of service, we call it data distribution service. So usually it is related with the other type of protocol, not hypertext transfer protocol, not HTTP. So something like FTP. There's a file transfer protocol. We use the DDS to transfer a file, so we can do write for creation, read object for read, write for update, and then dispose for delete. So this is the basic function. I will not discuss this one. So today we are going to learn about this. Maybe next week we will learn about this HTTP. Okay. You can use the existing CRUD packages in Django. So there are a lot of packages. They are available for you to immediately use. So you can call Django material, and then you can just call all the methods for create, read, update and delete. So there are many other framework, but it is too complicated if we learn a new framework. So I will just start from the scratch. Okay. So I will just use the basic models. So as I mentioned to you, the model example is for the convenience. Okay. The result is not well represented because it will always show the index number. So in order to make a better representation, we need to add more functions. In the questions, in the question model, in the models.py, we have the str. So the str is to show the result in more representation. So I want to show more representation in the table. Then I want to update. So I want to update the models. You know, the models is the table. Maybe when you do your team project, you may need to update the table many times. So let's update this one. But I will not update the attribute. I will just update the functions that we want to use in the table. Okay. So I already have the first one, the question text. You can update this one. Let's go to the models. So in the models.py, you already have the class question and then you already have the str. Okay, I already have the str. The str means the string result that you will show whenever you do the query. So I will show the question text. And then I will make a new function. In this case, okay, let me copy and paste this one. So I have a new function was published recently. It means when I call this function, I want to check, is there any question that has been published recently? So recently means if the time between the current time, it is not more than 1 day. So if it is more than 2 days, then it is not recent. So the function will be, I want to check from now minus the time delta 1. There is an error about date time. What is this error? If you move your mouse, then you will see a kind of recommendation. So this recommend that you need to import this name. So you can click. Yeah, this is about the date time. So you can import date time. Once you click the import date time, so you can see there is one line in the above part of your Python file. It is about the import date time. So if you already did the import date time, then the error will disappear. Okay, so this is the updated for the class question. So you can use the previous code, okay, and you can update this too. Now for the class choice, you can use your previous code for this section, and then for the last you can copy this one. So I will put the function at the end of this class choice. Okay. Because we update this model.py, so you need to run the 3 steps that I already teach you. The first is to make migration. How can you do make migration? You can just go to the minutes.py. Okay. If you are not sure, you can go to tools and then minutes.py. So you can see this is the minutes.py environment. I show you this step. Make migrations, migrate, make migration. You can specify the app name. If you don't specify, then it means it will run everything. And then you can do migrate. Okay. So because we are not changing any table, so you cannot see any information here because we are just changing the function. So after this, let's restart the shell. Okay, previously, how we can start the shell? We use the word shell in the minutes.py. So I will restart the shell. When I restart the shell, I need to run again from the beginning. So first, I will import again because you already renew your model. So you need to import again. And then let's check if I do the query question objects.all. If I do this query, yeah, it shows that the question is where is neighbor. And then if I do the query with choice objects.all, if I do the query with choice objects.all, oops, it didn't change. Let me stop. Let me run again. Okay, let me run again. From FAQ.models, I will import question and choice. What happened this one? Okay, from FAQ models, I import question and choice. And then I will check the choice dot objects. Okay, objects.all. Okay, now you can see that. Oh, how can I do? Okay. Can you see the difference? Before we do the before we did the changes on this function, the choice show choice object 1. Okay. But now you can see the text. Okay, I didn't show the example here, but yeah, you can check later. If you don't have this str, here it will show choice object 1, something like this. But you put another function str, that's why it will show the text. It will show you the choice text here. Okay, let's see more things in this SQL. So I would like to do the import the time zone. So I'm going to use Django utils import time zone. Because I think I will need this one later. So I have this query. You can copy and paste the query in the table that I give. So I would like to add one more question to the database. The question will be, it is the class name question, and then I would like to give the information. So how many attributes do you have? In this case, we have two attributes, question text and publication date. So when you do the instance, when you create an instance in the Python, you will call the class name. The class name is question. And you have two parameters. What are the parameters? The parameters are the attributes. So the first will be the question text, and the second will be the publication date. The first parameter, I want to put the value what's new. For the publication date, I would like to give the time zone now. So this is the command. So I have a new object, Q. Okay. If you look at the question now, still we have only one data. In order to put the data in the database, first you need to save. So I would like to save the Q. What is Q? The Q is the object that we just created. So I would like to save it. And then, okay, let's see. If I want to know all the objects. So when you finish to save the data or finish to save the object, then you will see that the data, the question what's new, already included in the database. So it means every time you do the dot save, it will save into the database. Now let's say I want to see the ID, so I can just use q.id. So now it is the data in the ID2. Where is neighbor is ID1. What's new is ID2. And then let's say I want to know the question text. So I just use the question text without the parenthesis, because if you use the parenthesis, it means a method or function. So I just want to know the value. So the value of the Q is what's new. If you already know Python, I guess you have no difficulties. So I want to change the question text into what's up. So I can change this one. I can change the value. After you change the value, please do not forget that you will need to save it again. Once you finish saving the file, then you can check again. The data now has been updated to WhatsApp. So the new data has been inserted into the database. You can see also from the console, if you run, now you can see there are two data, where is neighbor and what's up, it is the new updated data. Okay. Okay, let's have a break. Okay, we'll continue after the break.